Hello everyone from wherever you're watching or listening. I hope you're doing great. My name is Lila Mboa and welcome to the Ladies' Dias, particularly the LD Book Club. And what a better way to premiere this with Finding Me by Viola'S. In this review, I'd like to share the basics of the book, the author background. I'll also give the key sections and key lessons that I picked from it, and I'll also share with you some of the interesting passages that I came across. Tuende kazi. Finding Me is a 304-book page clustered as a memoir. It's actually a raw, mind-blowing, and breathtaking book, a masterpiece to say the least. Did you actually know that Finding Me was named as Oprah's Book Club Pick of 2022? And Viola herself actually describes the book as a deep reflection, a promise, and a love letter of sorts to self. So Viola Davis doesn't really need any kind of introduction, but for those who might not really know who she is a Hollywood actress and producer. She was born in South Carolina, and just a bit of a homework for you guys, you can go and find out what she really studied back in college. Interestingly, she has won a Tonys, an Emmys, and an Oscars, making her the first African American to win the Triple Crown of acting, popularly known as Annalise Keating in her lead role in How to Get Away with Murder. So let's get into the key sections of the book and some of the key lessons that I picked. Now, on to the first section, we look into Viola's childhood life, one that is characterized by racism, abuse, abject poverty, and violence. When you turn the pages of this book, you meet a girl that is scared, a girl that is trying to escape, a girl that is trying to grapple with her own identity. It's not really easy when you grow up and people constantly call you ugly. It becomes part of your identity, you know. And to top that up, her background is a case of abject poverty. Viola actually shares that there was a time she had to go to school reeking of urine. You can imagine, kuenda shule, umelalia matesi yenye umekojolea not once, but even twice and even 3 times. I guess most of you will definitely freak out from the sight of a cockroach or even a mosquito, but Viola shares that rats became a normal part of her life. Now you can imagine this is somebody who had to go through this, but she had to also undergo mental, physical, and emotional abuse. Having grown up with a father who was an alcoholic, most of the time he used to get violent with the mom, and this trickled down to the kids. Contrast that background with her present success. One of the key lessons we pick from this phase of Viola's life is that your background should not dictate the kind of future you ought to have. It should not prevent you from shooting for the stars. Let's join Viola as she navigates Hollywood. Now, after college, she had to look for acting gigs so that she can be able to learn about the industry, survive, and at the same time try and penetrate into the Hollywood space. And she shared that it was not really easy as a black person looking for roles, and she had to couple that up with looking for other jobs as waiting tables and also selling flyers just to try and get by. One of the key interesting things that she shares is that she used to fix herself or squeeze herself in every character or even project just to ensure that Viola's name was actually out there. And also, she constantly looked for opportunities that polished her craft. In this kind of phase, we meet a lady who is determined, a lady who is resilient, a lady who is persistent. And one of the key lessons that we pick from this phase of Viola's life is that she should be a go-getter at all times in life. Now let's now join Viola in Hollywood, or as a Hollywood star. Prior to her role in How to Get Away with Murder, she of course acted in other amazing films. But in this specific role, in this popular series, she shares that it was a healing balm in her life. It actually pushed her to come face to face with who the real Viola Davis is. So one of the key defining moments in Viola's career, especially in this series, was when she asked the directors to include a scene where she would remove her makeup and her wig on set. She wanted it to be very brutal and very raw. In other words, she wanted to connect with all the black women out there. She wanted them to be authentic and to appreciate themselves for who they are. In her own words, the author shared that this specific role was quite liberating. Overall, one of the key lessons that we pick from this specific phase of Viola's life is that we should appreciate authenticity. To wrap up, I'd like to share with you some of the interesting passages that I came across while I was reading this book. And one of them was, manifestation has always been a part of my life, either getting on my knees physically or praying silently, and God surely intervened. And in another passage, Viola shares, the 8-year-old girl who had never been told you are worthy, you are beautiful, suddenly found herself as a leading lady and a mouthpiece for all the women who looked like her. Those are some of the interesting passages and key lessons that I picked from this book. If you haven't read this book, please plan a date with Finding Me by Viola Davis. And if you have, share with us some of the thoughts and opinions you picked from this book, and also some of the other recommendations that you feel the LD community or the LD book club needs to check out. Thank you for listening in on our premiere episode of the book club. If you liked it, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. You can also share with anyone who you feel might really benefit from this episode. Kama kawaida, don't forget to subscribe, and you can also connect with us on all our social media handles at Lady Stars and at Lila Mumboa_KE. Thank you, and see you next time on This Stairs.